Right now at 5:30, it's Super Tuesday. Candidates looking to make a big push for the presidential nomination.
Also on WKYT this morning, police say 2 juveniles were sleeping inside a home that's been hit by gunfire this morning. The latest on the search for a shooter coming up this morning.
And later today, community members in Estill County will be able to voice concerns regarding the discovery of radioactive waste.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you, and just when you thought we'd never get through winter, here we are on March 1st. It's Tuesday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Counting down till the 20th of March. That's
right.
The first day of spring.
Actually, we'll get into the new season. But March makes you feel better,
it
doesn't
does,
it? All
it
right.
does.
It's a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day. That, of course, the other element as you get into the more spring-like feel. Here is meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, trust me, when you wake up this morning, it's not going to feel like spring. I mean, it's kind of chilly in some spots. We're at 35 degrees in Laurel County, and that goes for Rockcastle County, too. Frankfort coming in at 37 degrees. Cynthiana off toward Paris, North Middletown, and also work your way into Nicholas County, Carlisle, sitting there in the 30s. Mount Sterling coming in at 34 degrees. So it's kind of the winter feel, but trust me, once things get going later on this afternoon, we'll be in the mid-60s. It's going to be a big jump of temperatures. Not much going on this morning. Defender Radar Network showing you pretty calm conditions. But those storms are on their way. The severe weather threat, a slight risk for much of our viewing area, marginal risk back toward the east and southeast. But still, what we're going to be seeing, a low-end severe weather threat. This is no outbreak type of situation. However, it takes that one thunderstorm and that one severe cell to make it feel like an outbreak around your neck of the woods. But once again, low end, we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be showing you the timing on that hour by hour in my forecast coming up.
All right, Micah, thank you. Leading our news this half hour, it is Super Tuesday, and more delegates are up for grabs today than any other day in the presidential nominating contest. Latest polls show Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton leading in key states.
For the Democrats, 865 delegates are at stake. For the GOP, about 600 on the line. Weijia Zhang has the latest.
On the eve of Super Tuesday, Donald Trump predicted a victory during a rally in Georgia.
We're going to win with our military. We're going to win, 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 win.
Latest polls show the Republican presidential frontrunner leading both nationally and in several key states. Marco Rubio has tried to halt the billionaire's momentum, hammering him for days, most recently for failing to immediately disavow former KKK leader David Duke, who announced his support for Trump.
There is no room in the conservative movement for the KKK or David Duke or anyone who will not condemn them.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz is banking on a win in his home state to keep his campaign alive.
So what we will see, I believe, is Donald Trump and me coming out both with a significant chunk of delegates and everyone else far behind.
In the Democratic race, political analysts expect Hillary Clinton to pick up far more delegates than Bernie Sanders today, which could make it nearly impossible for her to lose the nomination.
America is and always has been great. What we need to do together is make America whole again.
Sanders made his final pitch in Massachusetts, where more than 100 delegates are on the line.
I think we're going to win here in Massachusetts tomorrow.
The Vermont senator says he intends to take his campaign all the way to the Democratic convention. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Washington.
Well, the biggest prize of the day is Texas, with 155 Republican delegates and 252 total Democratic delegates.
Some of the Republican presidential candidates are making stops here in the Bluegrass State throughout the week, each making their case to voters ahead of Saturday's Republican caucus. GOP frontrunner Donald Trump will hold a rally at the Kentucky International Convention Center in Louisville this afternoon. Marco Rubio has planned a campaign event for here in Lexington Friday morning. The venue for that has not been announced yet. And as for Ted Cruz, the senator from Texas, his campaign says he plans to visit the Commonwealth as well. They have not announced where or when. Republican candidate Ben Carson has already made a stop in Kentucky ahead of Saturday's caucus. Yesterday, he hosted a town hall meeting in Lexington. While polls show him far behind, Carson says he has momentum heading into this week's contests.
Well, Lexington police investigating this morning after a home was struck by bullets overnight.
It happened at a home on Newcastle Street off Dunkirk Drive. This is off for Sales Road. WKYT's Mark Barber is at the scene gathering the latest from police. He joins us now with more on the investigation. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. We've learned that police are stepping up their patrols here on Newcastle Street after someone fired 5 to 6 shots into a home while 3 people were sleeping inside. Now, investigators tell us that those shots were fired through front windows in the house, so the adult and 2 juveniles who were sleeping in a back bedroom, they were not hurt. Officers rushed to the home around 3:30 this morning after a neighbor called to report hearing gunfire outside. Police tell me they are still investigating, but so far they don't know who the shooter is or why the home was targeted. Officers are hoping to learn more information later today when they say they're going to follow up with those 3 people who were sleeping inside the home. Until then, again, officers say they will continue to step up their patrols here in this Cardinal Valley neighborhood. That's the latest here in Lexington. I'm Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. Now, 5:36 on WKYT this morning, and Estill County leaders are trying to help calm some community concerns by holding a public forum later today.
This comes after the county discovered low levels of radioactive substances in a landfill there on Friday. WKYT's Mike Byer is at our live desk with details on this forum.
Estill County Judge Executive Wallace Taylor says he still has a lot of questions about the situation involving radioactive waste at the Blue Ridge landfill. Judge Taylor and many concerned residents hope to have some of their questions answered tonight at 6 p.m. This is when a meeting will take place at Estill County High School, which is right across the street from the landfill. Now, the good news out of all of this is a third-party contractor came in over the weekend to do air and water tests at the landfill, nearby schools and houses. None of those tests revealed anything abnormal. All of this began when county leaders found out last week that radioactive waste from operations in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia were illegally sent to the Blue Ridge landfill between July and November of last year. Now, the landfill has also hired an agency who will come out to do radiation tests this week. So far, all of this testing has cost the county over $10,000, but Judge Taylor says the landfill will reimburse the county. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you very much. And new on WKYT this morning, Lexington police say they had no trouble tracking down a man accused of breaking into a home. Clay Garrison of Cincinnati is now charged with burglary. Last month, police say a woman woke up to find a stranger in her home. She yelled and the stranger left, but police say Garrison left his AAA card on the woman's kitchen counter.
That'll do it. In just the past few days, 3 Central Kentucky gas stations have been robbed at gunpoint. Now police think the crimes could be connected. The surveillance video shows the robbery at a Double Quick gas station on US 27 in Nicholasville early yesterday morning. Police say 3 masked men walked in and pulled out guns on the clerks and a customer. This comes after a Speedway in Richmond was robbed Sunday morning, followed by a robbery at a Circle K in Lexington 2 hours later.
They've had a couple of robberies over the weekend that have a similar method and a similar description. So we're hoping that maybe they've got a little more information that we can share with each other.
So far, police haven't made any arrests for the 3 robberies.
Police arrested a man who they say showed up at a Walmart in Laurel County under the influence while caring for his young nieces. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office charged 21-year-old John Carroll with public intoxication. They say when they showed up at the Walmart in North Corbin, they found Carroll staggering in the parking lot with his 8- and 9-year-old nieces with him. Deputies say other family members picked up the children.
Well, a Franklin County mother is calling on school officials to help put an end to recent cyberbullying. Sandy Eastman says someone is using the social media app Instagram to bully several kids at Elkhorn Middle School, including her 12-year-old daughter. She says the accounts use derogatory words and sexual language so obscene they can't be shown or shared on television. Eastman says she's reported the bullying to school officials, but because it's coming from anonymous accounts, makes it pretty difficult to find those responsible.
We would suggest is that they notify the authorities. By authorities, I mean law enforcement. Secondly, they might notify school authorities and then provide whatever information they can to help us determine who's responsible for it.
Well, the Franklin County School District says cyberbullying carries a very serious punishment both at school and in court. Eastman says if she learns who's behind the bullying, she plans to press charges.
New this morning, a state lawmaker has filed a bill that would keep the state's health insurance exchange and the expanded Medicaid program. Representative Darrell Owens, a Democrat from Louisville, has filed the bill. Owens says losing Connect and the Medicaid expansion would hurt thousands across the state. Since taking office, Governor Matt Bevin has vowed to get rid of Connect, saying it costs the state too much money. Governor Bevin says it will be dismantled by the end of the year.
The state Senate has passed a bill that would require doctors to give a woman an ultrasound and describe to her what they see before performing an abortion. But the bill would allow women to look away from the ultrasound images. The bill now heads to the House. Earlier this legislative session, Kentucky lawmakers approved a bill that updates the state's informed consent law. Governor Bevin signed it into law.
After years of planning and construction, the new 21C Museum Hotel is now open in downtown Lexington. Celebrations began with a big ribbon cutting, followed by an open house that was held last night. It's in the former Fayette National Bank building at the corner of Main and Upper Streets. The hotel has 88 rooms. Each has unique artwork from Lexington area artists. This is the second 21C hotel in Kentucky. The other is over in Louisville. And so there you go, if you want a fancy place to stay.
Maybe a staycation,
There you go,
there at the hotel.
It's time to check live drive traffic this morning, see what's going on at 541. And here's our look at the region, and you see lots of green on there with no reports of any major problems at the moment. We continue to remind you, of course, of the situation if you're heading south toward Tennessee, that I-75 is blocked near the Kentucky-Tennessee line. Now telling us it's going to be a while on that, but maybe not as long as first thought. They'll hopefully be getting some of those lanes open in a couple of weeks. Drive time's about normal this morning, so it looks good so far.
Yeah, looks good.
Still a lot more coming up for you on WKYT on your Tuesday morning.
His trip marks one giant leap for scientists. Coming up, astronaut Scott Kelly prepares to return to Earth after living in space for an entire year.
Nothing really going on this morning. It's really during the afternoon. Expect very wet conditions and also very stormy conditions. And I'll have that coming up next. Defender Radar Network showing calm conditions this morning. As you're walking out the door this morning, kids going off to school, no worries whatsoever. It's coming back from school, coming back from home, that you're going to be running into some thunderstorms in the forecast. Let me show you what's going on back toward the west, because this is where an aggravated system is just kind of hanging out across Missouri and also Arkansas, heading eastbound. It's not very potent at the moment. It's not very, it just doesn't look impressive outside. Let me show you how far it is away. It's about 400 miles away. I mean, we still have plenty of time before these storms actually roll on in here. We will get at least that opportunity to see a couple of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder before noontime. If that happens, that's great news for us. You do not want sunshine reaching the ground on days like this. Is this an outbreak type of situation? Is it a huge impact for severe weather? No. But is it a low end? Yes. So there's still a risk, but it's just not a high risk of severe weather. Still low end risks are risks nonetheless, right? Strong winds, damaging winds, getting close to moderate, but for the most part, it's just above that low, in between moderate and low, so not a huge chance of that. Tornadic activity and flooding activity is going to be relatively low, but like I always say, it's still there. It's still a threat. So we just got to keep that in mind as we head throughout the afternoon. Watch as we go hour by hour. Here's your hour by hour forecast. This is one you want to watch because this is the timing on when you can expect these. Right around noontime to about 2 p.m. expected around the I-65 corridor and back toward the west. That does include the BG Parkway. Frankfort roughly 2 to about 3 p.m. Lexington anywhere from 2 to 4 p.m. And that will go for the I-75 corridor, 127 and 27. Those areas anywhere from, I would say, 1 to 4 p.m. Then you get off in eastern Kentucky, then you're talking about 4 p.m. to about 7 p.m. 4 p.m. being more like Mount Sterling down to London, and then Pikeville, Prestonsburg. You guys are more of the 6 to 7 p.m. By the time we roll into 6 and 7 p.m., those storms are long gone. So it's really the afternoon hours that we're going to be facing with these strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. Get off into the night and into tomorrow morning, a few flakes fly. Are we expecting anything out of that? Nah, the kids are going to be in school tomorrow because this just no accumulation expected with this one as it flies on through. Number one, warm ground. Number two, it's just not much snow with this. So really the focus, obviously, will be these thunderstorms, guys, as we head throughout the afternoon. Remember, anywhere from noontime back toward the west to about 6 p.m. to the far east back toward West Virginia and Kentucky border. Go throughout the night, few flakes, no accumulation. Thursday, rain and snow, but still no accumulation with that one. And then I want you to focus in on Monday of next week. Big 7-0, 70 degrees there in the forecast, and that's 7 days out. So that's not going to change that much, as it looks like a big kick of warm air.
It'll be nice.
Well, even though it's up and down, it seems promising because you keep eking out these 60-something 70s.
And every time we get a little warmer, it's a little next step, it seems
Absolutely.
like.
Absolutely. It's getting there.
Still, there's tomorrow. Okay. On the colder weather. All right, Micah, thank you. 5:48 right now.
Well, U.S. astronaut Scott Kelly is getting ready to come home after closing out a record-setting 340-day stay aboard the International Space Station.
Can you imagine? Huh?
No, I really can't.
Right. Kelly and Russian cosmonaut Michael Kornikio have spent the last year serving as test subjects so that scientists could study the effects of space travel on the human body. It's all part of NASA's goal to make sure astronauts could handle a trip to Mars. The two are space flyers expected to return to Earth later tonight. Now, if all goes well, they're expected to touch down at the steppe of Kazakhstan, and then there will be a series of medical examinations. Kelly will be flying right to Houston. Kelly has now spent the most cumulative time in space of any American in history. All kinds of tests they're going to do on him, psychological, physical, and see how he has held up. But apparently, remarkably well.
It looks like he's done okay for himself.
Last week he was flying around in a gorilla suit. So
what is he going to do when he comes back to Earth, you know?
I don't know, but he's sure going to be an interesting character for the rest of his life to be able to go around and give speeches, talk about that year.
You must love it up there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We'll be checking traffic for you, see how things are moving along this morning, some health news and a whole lot more. And it's so good to have you with us on WKYT. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. It is 5:53. Glad you're with us on March 1st.
Yeah, let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
Republican candidates looking to sway voters ahead of Kentucky's big caucus coming up on Saturday. Donald Trump will hold a rally in Louisville later today, while Marco Rubio will visit Lexington Friday. Ted Cruz says he will also visit the Commonwealth, but has not said when and where yet.
Lexington police investigating after a home on Newcastle Drive was struck by bullets, at least 5 of them overnight. Police say 1 adult, 2 juveniles were sleeping inside at the time. No injuries were reported. Police say they do not have any suspects at this time. Voters in several states head to the polls on this Super Tuesday to decide who should be their party's presidential nominee.
And the latest polls show Republican Donald Trump leading Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and the rest of the GOP field in several states in play. And Democrat Hillary Clinton is expected to rack up more delegates than Bernie Sanders today, which could make her unstoppable for her party's nomination.
Well, President Barack Obama sits down with Senate Republican leaders at the White House to discuss the Supreme Court seat left vacant by the late Antonin Scalia. The White House says the president intends to make a nomination, but it is still reviewing recommendations from his legal team. Republicans have argued the decision should be left to the next president.
Canadian researchers have found that monitoring works better than treatment for many men with prostate cancer. Doctors say patients with slow-growing tumors can benefit from active surveillance, avoiding invasive surgery and radiation and their severe side effects.
Doctors at the University of Chicago say a lack of sleep intensifies cravings for sweet and salty, high-fat foods. Researchers say sleep loss extends the effects of a chemical signal that enhances the joy of eating what they call rewarding snacks. Sleep-starved patients ate nearly twice as much as those who got 8 hours of rest. So if you're not getting any sleep, then Bill, looks like you're in trouble. Anyway, we'll get to him in a second, but let's first go to live drive traffic. Really nothing major happening. And now we can go to Bill to check out what's making news online this morning. Isn't that a shame, Bill, that there's that link between overeating?
Well, but it is, and there's no doubt about that. You know, a lot of people particularly eat a lot of carbs just for energy when they're sleep deprived. So keep that in mind. Try to get your rest. On WKYT.com, a first alert severe weather day to keep you ahead of a line of potentially strong storms that we expect to move through later today. You can find Micah's updated forecast as well as the timing for the arrival of the storms. All right, Lexington police have stepped up patrols this morning in a neighborhood off Versailles Road where shots have been fired. Several people were sleeping when a home was hit by bullets this morning. Also, WKYT investigates a tale of two cities. While Lexington's Centerpoint development has floundered for years, Louisville broke ground in January on its massive Omni project, and it's expected to be completed in 2 years. Look up and share our story about what is making a difference between those two projects. We're staying on top of the story in Estill County, where local leaders will answer questions tonight about the radioactive waste that's been dumped in a landfill near schools and homes. Lots of concerns there. Look for our continuing reporting on that. On Kentucky.com, a big crowd gathered for the grand opening of the 21C Hotel in downtown Lexington. And also, Coach Cal is hoping that a tweak will steady his team and bring confidence as the Cats take on Florida tonight and get ready for postseason play. And CBS This Morning is coming up with your eye-opener and coverage of Super Tuesday. Plus, we'll have local updates. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and for the latest, WKYT.com.
Yeah, the system is still a ways away. I mean, you got to get back toward Missouri and also Arkansas to see that, roughly 400 miles away. So we still have plenty of time. Nonetheless, here comes some storms later on this afternoon. I'm going to go over the timing on that if you have not seen it yet. That's coming up at the top of the hour on WKYT News at 6 in just a couple of minutes. If you're about to take off, have a great day. If not, see you back here in a couple of minutes.